Welcome to Master Memories, the podcast where my friends talk about their lives. Today, on Sunday, April 2nd, 2023, I'm here with Timothy Martin Rook, a.k.a. Timmy, a.k.a. The Timinator, a.k.a. Timbo, a.k.a. You have any other names I missed?
I don't think so. I think you covered them all, man.
Gotcha. What was your first memory of meeting you?
I don't know if it's like a distinct moment, but I always remember being in the Bowen common room on the second floor, and at like random odd hours of the night, you coming up from the desk and saying what's up and talking and just chopping it up, and we would sit there for a long time too.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I always remember. I don't know if it's like a distinct, like specific moment, but definitely my first semester, I feel like that happened multiple times.
Yeah.
Where we sat there for probably like 30 to 45 minutes.
No, I miss those common rooms. Like, there's something about just like you said, like just walking up the stairs and seeing like everyone there, just like hanging out with people. Like,
it was the best part, I think, of the dorms.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Also, to your point on the front desk, like I'm so glad I didn't do lunch week, so I remember like everyone else was like doing it, and I had to move in early for that, and I remember just like going down the hall and just like saying hi to like you guys, like while you guys were like in between stuff, while like everyone was out like training and stuff, and like because I mean, you guys like had to wake up like at 6 a.m. one day, and I was like, ha, don't have to do that.
It's so brutal. I also remember when we couldn't get our Wi-Fi to work.
Yeah, for your Xbox, right?
And wait, maybe that's the first time. I think that's probably the first time, because we like called someone, we called down the hall, and like you were just like, all right, I got you, and set it all up.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember like having to do that struggle myself freshman year. Like it's so unnecessarily difficult to like have an Xbox and a Wi-Fi. It's like, what's wrong with it just being on the regular Wi-Fi? You know?
You had to go through like an extra. Like, you had to do the password, but then you had to like download something extra. Or,
you had to register the MAC address, I think. Which, like knowing what I know now about technology, like there's no reason it had to be on a separate network. Like it could have been on the same one. It's not like anyone's Xbox is gonna like, get infected and hack the
whole system.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, no. Why did Ohio State's like Wi-Fi go? Oh, it's some kid's Xbox got like that's
malware.
Yeah, that's stupid fucking shit. But nah, dude, those I miss like the dorms a little bit. Like obviously there's a good part about freedom, but like especially like with you guys, like being able to like I don't know meet you guys and all that stuff. Like I don't know, because I feel like the year below you guys had it tough, because like I don't know, I was talking to John Palmer yesterday and or on Thursday, and he said like you couldn't open your door at all. Like it was just
I can't even imagine. I mean, it even sucked for us too, because we were supposed to be in that suite.
Yeah, the 8%.
And like we had a really great relationship with you all, because you lived on our floor and we hung out a ton, and like ended up just like continuing that friendship throughout college. But I don't think our like relationship with our minis or anyone else at Mount from the year below is as good, because we just didn't have like the opportunity to just like live together.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked. But so I feel like we missed out too. But the year below is definitely like that's really tough too. Like not being able to open your door would definitely like have hindered my college experience for sure.
I don't know, I mean, I feel like, again, that, like, first year, just, like, walking down the halls, like, everyone's in their doubles, just, like, hey, what's going on, like, even those, like, first couple weeks when, like, everyone goes out, like, a group of, like, 30 to 40 people, like, there's something magical about it, I never would do it again, don't get me wrong, but there's something fun about it.
Yeah, I agree. That was a lot of fun. Rolling up to one person gets a move, and then 30 people follow them.
Yeah.
All to one house, and the people at the party are like, what?
Yeah. Or it's like, I don't know, one guy, like, saying, oh, my buddy said we can go to his frat and just bring, like, the entire floor. Like, shit like that was just goofy.
I always felt so nervous doing that. It's like, my brother was here for a semester, so when anyone else who didn't have a move kind of just, like, was like, all right, coming with you for block. And like, good thing my brother didn't care, but we would actually roll up with, 20 people. It's really funny. So
shit's good. I remember there was one of our first weekends as freshmen. Adam knew this kid like John Green, I want to say his name was. It was something Green. And he met someone and he was like, I'm sick tonight, I can't go to this party, but like just say like John Green, right? And we roll up, it's like me, Adam, like two other guys. and it's Ben Green, semantics. And so, you know, like, they're like, who do you know here? And I was like, Ben Green. He's like, oh shit, I'm Ben Green.
Oh my, wait, seriously? Which
Yeah.
party was this?
This was, you know, like the Indianola, like, bridge, the house, like, right by it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's that house.
What is that? I don't know if it's a frat house anymore.
It was the frat house when I was a freshman.
I remember it being, but I don't know if it is anymore, because I always remember, like, when we would walk by it, it would be, like, popping off.
Yeah.
I've not really seen much activity there.
I mean, that's the, you know, the wavelength of fraternities, you know, they go up and then they go down, whether it be from bullshit or just
Yeah.
popularity and whatnot, like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, fun time to be in Greek life.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't need to tell you about it.
No.
What were you doing today before we started filming?
Yeah, I woke up, ate breakfast, did a few things on my laptop. One of my friends from high school, my best friend growing up, was actually driving through, so we went and got lunch for like an hour.
Mhm.
And then I got back, worked on some pack, unfortunately.
Fuck
That was
pack.
stupid. Only like 3 more and then I'm done with that forever. And then I did some work on a presentation I have on Tuesday.
There you go.
So,
Fun Sunday scaries.
not the best. I have so many papers due this week. It's really weird. I have like 3 papers due this week.
Really?
I haven't written more than like 3 papers in a semester, really, before, I feel like.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I don't know, maybe I'm under exaggerating that a little bit, but like 3 in a week is a lot. So I don't know how that's gonna go, but
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like papers are like one of those things where it's like, you know, you can do it. It's just like the dread of just doing it because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna take time, you know.
oh yeah.
Especially like, I don't know how long they have to be.
One of them is like a group of 4 and it's 6 pages, but the guy is super picky, so it has to be all content, no fluff, basically. And it has to be from 5.75 to 6 pages, is what he said.
What a weird like.
Yeah,
requirement.
he like really wants us to, I guess, hone in on our idea and only produce like facts for 6
Yeah.
pages.
So not even like MLA heading, any of that.
I don't know, probably not.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, the guy is he did like our last paper, he graded it like last week, and I think he put like 45 annotations on it, and it was like a 5 or 6 page paper. I'm like, dude,
That's just
I
unnecessary.
was like, come
Yeah.
on. So I have that, and then the other 2 aren't horrible, they're just like 2-page papers, but again, it's just that I have to actually put in the work and do research and
Yeah.
write it all, which
Yeah.
is annoying, but
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know, this like boot camp thing I was in, like we had 2 skips for homeworks, I think, and it was like, you know, 20 homeworks. And the 2 skips I used were both reports. Everything else was like technical bullshit, but I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I would much rather do literally anything else. Like, I don't know. I really hope. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I'm really like, I know I have to take exams for the future, just for like certification stuff. But like,
Mhm.
please God, never let me write a paper again.
Yeah, it depends on what it is. You know, like sometimes I don't have too much trouble writing. I actually enjoy writing sometimes, but when it's on like a technical subject that I don't really care about,
Yeah.
it's just really hard to find the motivation to write it.
Yeah, when you're forced to do something that you didn't want to do in the first place, like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember, I really enjoyed writing for a couple of my accounting classes, which is actually strange because you wouldn't think accounting classes are much writing, but in the program I'm in, it had to write almost like before every class for probably 3 semesters straight, and it was pretty enjoyable actually. Something that I did like,
Yeah.
but those were only like a page as
Yeah.
compared to 6 pages of stuff I don't care about. So
Yeah. No, I got you. I feel like like enjoying something you didn't expect. It was like so fun. Like you said, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
accounting thing. Like I don't know. I imagine you weren't going in like, oh boy.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
to write 3 pages on
Yeah.
this random accounting disclosure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got you.
Mhm.
What's your typical day or week look like right now?
I have like a heavy first half of the week and then it really wanes down.
Mm-hmm.
And basically a typical day, so like tomorrow, I will probably wake up and Monday mornings I go to the grocery store and then after the grocery store, I'll make breakfast really quick and like shower and go to class. I have 2 classes on Monday, so I go to astronomy, which is sweet, great class.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have econ, which is one of my least favorite classes I've taken at Ohio State. So
Yeah, don't blame me.
yeah, like an intermediate econ class that accounting majors have to take for some random reason.
Yeah.
So I have those 2, and then after that I'll work out for like an hour, hour and a half. And then usually after that it's kind of like miscellaneous meetings or things for student orgs. So tomorrow I have a meeting at like 5 for my presentation on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a meeting with a kid from my student organization after that, and then I have a basketball tournament actually tomorrow night, which I'm really excited for.
Is it
So-
Mount Madness or
It's BPAD basketball.
BPAD basketball?
3v3.
Hell yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tournament, so I'm really excited. Been
Yeah.
playing for like 5 weeks now, so.
Who's on the team?
So me, Gabe DeGrandis, and Jack Myers. There's 3 more people. Don't think you would know them. They're all way younger. So.
Okay. Or is it, so it's a 3v3, but like, you know.
3v3 with subs.
Okay, I
Yeah,
got
so
you, I
everyone
got
has
you.
everyone has to play at least 3 positions, and everyone has to sit at least 3 positions. So everyone has to do like in and out
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, you can't have a ball hog.
Yeah, I kind of still play like the whole game,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
whatever.
I got you. Yeah, sounds like a fun way to start the week, you know?
Yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow. I think it's gonna be a good day. So
Gotta get over the hump of Monday, you know?
I know somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind my Mondays. I like going to the grocery store, and you know, other than that one class, it's usually pretty chill.
Yeah.
Do have to do a little bit of extra work, I guess, because I have those papers.
Yeah.
Shouldn't do that.
Was that just like you need to take it at some point in college, or was it specifically like a senior level class?
It was just you need to take it at some point. So it's Econ 4001.
Mhm.
So it's just like, you know, all the business students have to take micro and macro at the
Mhm.
2000 level, and then accounting majors specifically have to use like their open option, which is usually what everyone does like a fun class for. We have to take an econ class.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like, you know, one of the few chances we get to actually do something we like, and we have to use it on that. So
It's college for you.
yeah, so it's not. I don't know. It's just so dry.
Yeah.
Like, I was always really good at econ, and I have like a minor in something econ based, but this is just kind of like a whole different level that I'm not into at all, and I'm not very good at.
Yeah.
Oh well. But,
Look, like you said, only like 3 more weeks.
and yeah, I'm almost there. As long as I did well on this past exam, I think I should be fine.
Yeah.
But
You'll be
we'll
fine.
see.
I don't know. I heard you got the first 700% on it.
700%.
Yeah,
that
they
would
had
be really nice.
They had to adjust the curve to like, you know, make sure, to have everyone else do worse because you did so well. Where do you lean politically and why?
I tend to lean to the left. Honestly, I don't really know when that started. I think that started probably like my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't really like the way that like Trump was saying things to people. I don't know. It just came off wrong to me, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. And I was in like an environmental science class, and like, you know, one of the things that Trump did was he kind of just took away most environmental laws that were placed for the past like 20 years. So
Yeah.
that was kind of like a slap in the face to me. So I didn't like that. And I think like I kind of lean towards like environmental protection like pretty heavily. So, you know, generally that lies with like the left. Other than that, I'm not really sure. Like, I was definitely like in a conservative family growing up. So that's an interesting question. I don't know, like, you know, it probably started around there, my senior year, and then I just started like aligning my views, but I don't really feel like I'm entirely like this crazy politically active person either. Like, most of the time I just don't really care, because I think a lot of people in politics are kind of scummy, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of a long-winded answer to that question, but yeah, a lot to unpack, I guess.
No, I got
So-
you. I mean, like you said, like, I don't know, I feel like the more you learn about politics, the more you're like, why the fuck are these people in power? Like,
Yeah, it's just weird. Like we have we're being led by these like 80-year-old people. It's just very strange to me. I don't think these people were alive during World War II. You know,
Yeah,
that's a long time ago. Like I don't think that people like that. I don't know. Not that there's anything against like old people, but I think there should be. I don't think it necessarily has to be somebody that's like 75 years old that has to leave the country.
Yeah, I mean,
it just seems weird to me.
it's been like you said, like the past couple of years, just been like really really old guys, where it's usually 40s, 50s, like
Right.
they're not like babies, but they're not like
Yeah, it's like that difference between like maturity that comes with a certain age, but also like someone that is just so far out of touch with reality because they're like 30 to 40 years older than like the average person.
exactly.
So I just think that's like a little weird.
Yeah. No, I mean it's
Strange times here.
it's a fun time to be an American, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Just in general, like I don't know, like what was do you remember like what your high school was like the day after the 2016 election?
Oh yeah, it was a wreck because like we had teachers that were like crying, and like I was like, oh my god, grow up, like especially like that always bugged me so much too, when teachers tried to project their political views on you, which was like crazy to me. And like either way, I don't really think that was like some of the way classrooms were conducted that day. I was like, really? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be talking about this, I don't think. But then, there were a lot of students that were just like being obnoxious too because they were like super happy.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't really know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, me included. I wasn't like, at that point, I don't really think I gave like too much of a care. But yeah, it was like kind of a wild day.
Yeah.
I'm from like kind of a very conservative area too, so I think a lot of people were pretty like hyped up.
Yeah. No, like you said, like I feel like that day is just like a wild ride, emotions were high, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely. I mean, I significantly remember like one of my teachers actually cry, and I was like, holy smokes.
Was it like first period or was it like?
It was like my third period, I think.
Damn, so she already had like a
No,
couple
it was
classes.
a guy. It was a guy.
Or he already had a couple classes.
Yeah, so I was like, what happened in the first two?
Yeah.
But, yeah, he was like, I went and I talked to the government teacher and she talked me down because we have this system of political checks and balances, and we're all sitting there like, yeah, dude, cool.
Yeah.
Can we like do like classwork now, or can you teach us something? So I don't know, man. It was a weird day.
Yeah, I remember my AP Gov teacher, who it was pretty clear that he leaned more toward the right, but he never said what he it sat us down, it's gonna be okay, all this stuff, and it's like, dude, I don't know, I feel like, at the time I was 16, I get that, it's a big moment, but we're not kids, it's it's alright. I don't know, it's just, it's fun, it's funny thinking back on that, just.
I know.
Because, like you said, it's either people were crying, screaming, whatever, just cheering. There were so many people that were so hyped that day.
Yeah.
I don't know. And now it's just 2020 after that election, I feel like it was well, that happened.
Yeah.
Not necessarily back to normal, but not a world shattering event. Or
Yeah.
It seemed like it.
Right. And that was also somewhat of a weird one, but then again we were in COVID, so
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't get a whole lot
Yeah.
of that, but
Yeah. Plus, I feel like being in college, being more a left-leaning area, I don't know, if the tables turned and Trump got his second presidency, it probably would have been a lot different. Versus I don't know, I don't want most people, or not most people, again being on a left-leaning area, it probably was just a success. Cool. It's not. It's Biden, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and on the other half of the ball, some people were just really pissed in that day too.
Yeah.
I remember we went to, because three of my roommates, I guess, three of us kind of lean left, and then the other three are pretty far right, and then there's one that's kind of in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we always, like, mess with each other about it. Like, nobody actually cares that much, I don't think.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah. But we all went to Kizuelas, and I remember, like, Jared and I were like, we need to get trashed. Like, we want to be ridiculous. So we both did a pitcher race. So that was
Pitcher
fun.
race?
Yeah, frozen pitcher race.
Like each of you did like soloed a pitcher by yourself.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, it takes a while,
Yeah.
but, like, it's fun.
Yeah. Dude, that I don't know, I mean, because Wales days like back before like we were 21, just going there and
Oh, I
like
know.
sneaking,
Yeah.
like those were some fun. I like.
They just don't give a shit there,
Yeah.
which is great.
Plus, have you ever had their food?
No, I haven't. I don't know if there's anything that I would really, like, vegetarian options, do you know?
I think there is. All like,
Okay.
I'm pretty. I don't know. I've had their quesadilla, like the one without, because I can't do
Okay.
meat and dairy, and like their quesadilla is good.
Right.
I mean, it's quesadilla, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta say their fries are surprisingly ridiculous.
Huh.
Like I don't know. I get food from there all the time.
I saw the fries come out once, and I was like, isn't this a Mexican restaurant? I feel like
I
fries
know.
aren't really, I don't know, maybe I'm, like, way wrong there, but I didn't know
Yeah.
that, like typical Mexican places had fries.
I didn't either. I was like, I was suspicious. So I don't know. It's like a pick three combo where you like pick three things and two sides. And I was like, all right, you got mashed potatoes. Let me see what the fries are like. You know what? I'll deal with a mediocre fry. And it came out. I was like, well,
What?
like color me surprised. Fuck
It's
yeah.
delicious.
It's like flaky. It's like crunchy.
Yeah.
And it's like all the good things you want in a fry. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I like get I DoorDash every here and there. Like
Oh,
it's
right.
legitimately like good food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I really get there, I feel like I always just go there with my parents to drink. That's the only time I really go there now.
Yeah.
But I'll get, like, queso. Maybe queso's good.
Yeah. No, or the first time we got food was my parents were like, "Oh, what's like a good place around here?" I'm like, "Venezuela's." Like, no, let's go. And they want to like eat, and I was like, "Okay, sure." And then got some food. I was like, "Shit's actually pretty good."
Yeah,
Like,
seriously.
for a place that like does alcohol, or is more known for their alcohol than
Yeah.
for food. Like, good on them.
Okay, I feel like, yeah, I should probably, I'll take a gander at the menu and maybe buy something soon.
What's your most unique talent?
This is gonna kind of sound, like, weird, but, like, I'm not, like, crazy good at, like, a specific thing, but I think I can do a lot of things well, and I feel like I'm in, like, a very high percentile of someone, like, I think I can, like, a combination of, like, running and, like, strength training, I think I'm, like, very good at that. Because, like, most people, when I tell them, like, how fast, like, I can run for, like, a certain amount of miles, they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, not really, like, crazy, like, weight trainer, like,
Yeah.
nothing insane. But if you see most, like, cross-country runners or
They can't
people
do
that
shit.
can run, no, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
And that was me one day, not so long ago.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, I always thought that combination of things, and, like, also being, like, a pretty good basketball player, like, all at the same time, just, like, overall, like, athlete, I guess.
Yeah. No, the physical jack of all trades.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm just, like, kind of decent at doing, like, a bunch of random things.
Yeah.
So, or, like, most, like, sports I can just, like, pick it up and be somewhat good at. So.
Yeah. Did you like do a lot of weight training when you were in cross country, or when did like that kind of? all
Yeah,
start?
the first time I ever lifted weights was, I think I started lifting my sophomore year for track. I didn't really, like, it never really stuck.
Yeah.
So I started lifting then on and off, and it was like we would have, like, 3 times a week, we would go in at like 6 a.m. to school, early lift, and then go to class, and then have practice later. So I think I lifted, like, a little bit there, and then after my sophomore year for basketball in the summer, I started lifting a lot, because we would lift every day for practice. And then, like, in season for basketball kind of was my only time other than track that I was lifting. But to be, like, a serious lifter where I'm lifting, like, 6 days a week, I started that this summer after my sophomore year of college. So I guess all that, what I was talking about, high school.
Yeah.
But when I started, like, usually, like, I don't know, 5-6 days a week, and I've kind of been on that train for the past year and some change, I guess, almost 2 years now.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Oh.
Yeah, your body's a temple or whatever. Like I don't know. It's important to keep upkeep, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know. Did you get a freshman 15? Like
No, no, but my roommates did.
yeah.
My roommates got like the sophomore. I guess only like 2 of them.
I mean, because of
but-
COVID, and like you can't really
Yeah.
go out.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but it's amazing to me. Like they both gained a ton of weight, and they're both now like the most fit people ever. It was really impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy. Like Filer, I remember like he gained a ton of weight sophomore year when we were in our house and we basically just never left.
Yeah.
And probably the only reason I didn't get the 15 was I was just running 6 miles a day.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else to do. And I remember leaving for the summer to go work, and I was working at Cedar Fair, so I was up in Sandusky. I really didn't see anybody for the whole summer.
Yeah.
And then he came in like late July or August to come to the park for a day, and he just looked like a completely different person. He had lost like 40 pounds. I was
Hell yeah,
like,
dude.
holy smokes. So, yeah.
Shout out Filer for that.
Dude, I know. I'm so proud of him for that. Like, he was just like, I remember one day he was just like, I just feel like shit. I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, it sucks. So,
Yeah.
but he started really watching what he eat. And he would, I think that summer he just like ran and walked a ton. Ended up looking really, really good. So.
Yeah. I feel like everyone like kind of gets to a point where it's like, I don't know, it's great to like not do anything and just eat whatever you want, but like
Yeah.
face the consequences. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you just kind of feel gross.
Yeah.
I think we've all like been there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, for me at least, that was my summer going into my sophomore year. Like, have you ever heard of the Burger Boy story?
I have heard a lot about the Burger Boy story. That's when you would get like what?
4 or 5 burgers from
Yeah.
Sloopy's every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Because I had the 4 or 5 swipes for it, and then I would heat them up for breakfast every day. This was gone for like 3 months, and like, don't get me wrong, I was so happy. I was eating like 5 burgers a week.
Yeah.
I was living the life, but it's just like, I don't know, like you said, like at a certain point I was just like, I can't keep doing this.
No,
And so,
I know.
I feel like summer like lifting and like summer getting into shape is just so much easier than during the school year too. Like, because it's like, unless you're like working, and even if you are working, it's like that's it. Everyone else is gone doing their thing. Like,
Right.
maybe you have like your hometown friends and stuff, but it's like, you know, they're probably working too. Like, I don't know.
And if you're working, you have such like a routine that you're in already
Exactly.
too. It's just easier. Just like you either go before or after, and it's like kind of something you just do every day.
That's low-key the nice part about like, you know, internships, like job, whatever. It's like you have like structure to your life versus
Yeah.
like, as much as I love, you know, being able to do like whatever the fuck I want, it's like when Monday through Friday are like all completely different days, it's so hard to like build a routine. Like you said, like, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I fear the real world, but at the same time, like those glimpses like are starting to not look as bad. The internships, I mean, like, you know, the glimpses
Yeah.
of the real world when I think about it.
Yeah, I would agree. I did like the structure, but I don't know. I just don't know how I'm gonna do in a 9 to 5 like every day. Like it was definitely like a really big adjustment.
Yeah.
Like you know the past 2 summers doing it.
I mean, to your point, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's like, you know, during the summer, it's like, okay, I only have like 6 more weeks, 3 more weeks till like
Right.
I'm back and, you know, drinking with the boys and all that. And then like, I don't know, there's just gonna be a point where I was like, oh, this is life now.
Yeah, it's gonna be really weird. Like just not going back to school next year.
Yeah.
Like that's just gonna be strange.
Yeah.
And like the 40-hour week probably more. I don't know. It's just like it's just so weird to me. Like from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Like there's just like I got nothing. Like
Yeah.
I'm just working.
Yeah.
Like no contact with the outside world, and then I get a couple hours to, I guess, do whatever. I don't know. It is weird because with classes and like a school schedule, I haven't had like a normal looking day for like years.
Couple years, yeah.
So this is just weird. So
Yeah, I do. Well, are you gonna be in person or are you gonna be virtual?
I will be hybrid. I'm hoping in person, mostly for audit. At least in my experience, I will be in the office a couple days a week, or I will be at the client
Mhm.
at least a couple days a week. So
Well, that'd be nice.
somewhat in person, yeah. Which is
Yeah.
like, I think it's perfect to have a couple of days on Zoom or like the option to be on Zoom.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that's totally fine, and it saves me, you know, whatever the commute time is. Like for me, that was like probably an hour and a half of time a day, this past summer. So, you know, it's nice. But
Yeah.
we'll see. It depends on the team I get on, and that's all they say to you is like, oh, it depends on the team. You're like, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
how many teams are there? Oh, hundreds. Great. So.
Well, I'm rooting for in person because, like you said, I feel like going somewhere, like, you know, talking to work friends and actually seeing them versus like being in your room for hours and hours, or you know, the being in person gives a lot more structure and helps.
Yeah.
As someone that is fully virtual, it's different.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been going in person once a week, and I don't know. It's me and two other people on my entire floor, but like it's my favorite day of the week.
Entire floor.
Yeah, because my department is like almost 300 people. Like has no plans to ever like move back to in person. So one guy, like, you know, started going in the summer because his kids were like, you know, it was kind of hard to like work and have like kids at home. And the other guy has been commuting since COVID. He's from Circle, which is like an hour away. It's like hour there, hour back. But us three are the jolly in person gang.
Yeah, yeah. It's just nice. I remember, like, you kind of just, I can't build a relationship with somebody over Zoom.
Yeah.
And, like, I was going to, like, a busy season client this past summer, and they were like, it was really nice to have you. You were, like, a little bit of a comedic relief at times, and, like, people needed that, and I was like, I appreciate that. And it was just, like, nice to actually, like, talk to people face to face. And, you know, if I had to do that 3 days a week and then got 2 days to just be on Zoom, like, absolutely, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a balance between both.
No, there's definitely benefits. I mean, my summer going into senior year, I was 5 days in person, and us 5 interns and the people there were 5 days a week.
Oh my god.
Literally on Fridays it was literally just us and the front desk person who came.
That's awesome.
She came to check the coffee machine, was there for maybe like another half hour and then left, and it was just us 5. And on July 4th, she didn't even come in. Like it was literally just.
You had to work on July 4th?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, or no, it was July 3rd because the next day was July 4th, and everyone else was, you know, virtual because like considering most people are like 2 to 4 days virtual. Like I don't know, it was just. It's nice having in-person stuff, but like, you know, 5 days a week is like, ooh, that might be a little much.
That's a lot.
Yeah, especially like I said, like when it's just you and like a couple other people versus like the days where people are actually there. Completely different vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, it's so much easier like when you're in person, just be like, hey, can you look at this versus like, you know, hey, do you have time to go on a call? No, well, hold on, let me check my calendar. Like all this is just like.
Yeah, it's so much easier to just like pop your head over and be like, hi.
Yeah.
Can I have help?
Yeah,
I struggled with that a lot because like after my sophomore year, I did that internship with Cedar Fair, and it was like me and 3 other interns were in like, I don't know, a room that's probably like, if you cut it off there over, like maybe even smaller than this. And we were all just like grinding in there, and we had to be in there. We had to be in every single day. But like our manager wasn't there that much. Like the office was just kind of just like empty. It was weird, such a weird vibe. But we were all like having like a party in the back room every single day.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's just like we just got nothing done like half the time, and I was like, wow, this is really productive.
I feel like also with interns, it's like they don't give much for us to do, so it's like I don't know. I spent that 5 day a week in person thing. My job is literally just emailing clients for updates. Like
that's all you had to do.
It was mostly that. Like, you know, I literally tried to get more work. I was like, can I get put on another project? Like I'm doing maybe like 2 hours max a day, and that's if like people reply to me, which often they don't until I remind them on Slack. Hey, can you respond to this email? Which is like that defeats the whole purpose of an email. But I don't know. And like I was so lucky because I had I was at a corner desk, like because the way they did it is like, you know, they like the interns like had like, you know, this like area of the office, and you're supposed to be sitting next to across from your mentor, but my mentor was the VP of the company and lived in Chicago. And so he was only there for 2 weeks of the summer, and he was in meetings for most of that time. So it was me in the corner and no one next to me. And so I would just do jack shit. I would literally go through the amount of Wikipedia I read that summer, let me tell you. I learned about lake drug and alcohol abuse. Real like, a lot of learning that I got done, let me tell you.
Gosh. with the wiki, how far you can go into a
Yeah.
Wikipedia page. Yeah.
Or just clicking like
Crazy.
the best was just the random page button. Like
I've never done that.
oh, you learn about some wild shit when you hit random. I mean, think about all the Wikipedia
everything
pages.
I've ever looked up, like everything shows up. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's like one of the wonders of the world. Like the people that like actually contribute to that, like, are just superheroes.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
because I would never do that shit. Like, I'm not gonna update Wikipedia
So boring, and
Yeah.
trying to like find all that information too. That sounds.
and cite it,
Yeah. Oh gosh.
dude. Like, it's crazy. Like,
Every sentence is like cited down to the bottom too. It's crazy.
yeah. And then like it's like the people that like rush to Wikipedia when someone dies and change all the is to was. That's absurd too. Like, I don't know.
Some people just get satisfaction from that kind of thing, I guess. But
Yeah.
you know, hats off to them.
Yeah,
They're doing the Lord's work. Like,
I'll reap the benefits. You have fun out there.
Right.
Yeah.
I so much fun on Wikipedia, especially during work. I mean, like that's the same thing with me. I would do like 30 to 45 minutes right when I got in to work, and then I would set up like maybe one audit a day.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not even, like later in the day, and I would just walk out into the park and do the audit, document it, and then just sit there and wait until 5 o'clock. That's crazy.
Did you ever find a ride that was like, I need to audit this? Let me ride it like 5 times. Like,
It's funny because one of the audits we did was actually, like we would do undercover audits and we would go on the rides.
oh really?
Which was sweet.
That is
day,
sick.
That day was the best. We
I
just
can imagine.
like
Just ride all the
eight
rides.
hours straight of just riding rides
Yeah.
and like, I don't know, checking to make sure that they fill out like a slip for like an ADA pass correctly. And it was the best.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even my audit, but it was my coworker's audit. But he was like, they were always like, oh yeah, it's always better to have more people on it. And like, oh yeah, I'll hop in for that day.
I'll twist my arm. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Looks like I have to move my 45 minutes of work to tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
No, it sounds like I don't know. Sandusky was I don't want to say a learning opportunity because I feel like that's I don't know.
I did learn a lot from it. It's just like, I think there were just too many of us interns.
Yeah.
And like, whatever. I don't really care. It was an internship. Like, a lot of what I did was really applicable to like something I learned, which I was pretty shocked.
Mm-hmm.
But like going into my classes my junior and senior year, I'm like, oh, I actually like know about this. And like when I took the CPA exam, like there were questions that would pop up in the practice, and I'd be like, oh, I actually like did that.
That's
So yeah, kind of cool. So I really liked it. I mean, it was interesting. Definitely a good experience. And like, when am I ever going to be able to work in an amusement park again? Like,
Exactly.
probably never. So
You know, and you got to be like an actual like person, like I don't know, executive at a amusement park instead of just like I give out cotton candy.
yeah, no.
So,
I,
worked out
whenever
there,
I
handing
tell
it from the
people I work
resume.
at Cedar Point, I always make it very clear that I was a corporate internal auditor.
Yeah.
Like, I was not doing like food sales or
Yeah.
like strapping people into rides.
Oh, I imagine.
Which like that probably would have been fine too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have minded that. They
That
just had
looks
to
a lot better on the resume.
Yeah, they just had to work a lot more than us. So
What's your relationship like with your family?
my parents still live in Strongsville.
Mm-hmm.
So not crazy far away. So I'm close with my family. I'm gonna see them all this week actually. I'm going home on Wednesday for a Bruce Springsteen concert.
Oh.
So it'll be exciting.
Hell yeah.
Hard to describe, I guess. I text my brothers a lot. Kind of in like constant communication with them just about like random stuff, sports or like something funny I see. So I talk to them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I call my parents like once a week, which probably should do a little more of. But like I also don't want to stress them out too much either, because my one brother that lives in Raleigh calls my mom like every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be able to call my mom every single day. I wouldn't
Yeah.
know what to say.
No, that's a lot.
So I guess I don't really know. I don't know how I would describe it. It's a very good relationship though. Like, I really like being around my family. I like going home for breaks and stuff. Like, that's some of my favorite times are like Christmas breaks in college are like my favorite like just a month of like hanging out with my family
Yeah.
is like the best. So I'm probably not gonna have as much of that, coming forward, so trying to enjoy it. And like this is the last summer that I'll be at home, or honestly be at home for an extended period for, the foreseeable future, maybe ever.
Yeah.
So never know about that. But yeah, I mean, my mom and I, like, when I'm at home, like, she always wants to, like, do something. She's either, like, making a margarita, or we're gonna watch this, or we're doing this puzzle, we're working on this crossword. So I'm kind of, like, always doing stuff with my mom, and then my dad has, like, this insane sleep schedule where he goes to bed every night at, like, 11:30 and wakes up at 5. I don't know why he does that, but he always is down to, like, watch sports with me.
Oh yeah.
So I do that quite a bit too. So it's a good relationship. I really enjoy it. I mean, I'm kind of ready to branch out a little bit, but I'm definitely gonna miss like that time with them a lot.
Yeah.
So
No, shout out the Rook family though.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're all thriving.
yeah, absolutely.
I know you're going to Chicago,
Mhm.
but have you ever like, do you want to like move closer back to home at some point, or do you think that like, I don't know, because now you said your brother's in Raleigh or Charlotte?
Yeah, so my brother's in Raleigh, but he's actually moving home this summer. So
Gotcha.
he'll be back in Cleveland.
Gotcha. So yeah, have you ever thought about going back to the family, or
Yeah, I worked in Cleveland this summer kind of with like half the intent that I was gonna come home and live in Cleveland, or like half the intent that I was gonna go to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of just thought like this might, like if I went home to Cleveland after college, I don't think I ever would have left there.
Yeah.
So that would have been literally never living outside of Ohio my entire life, which is something that like I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't really know how it's gonna go with Chicago. Like I really enjoyed it every single time I visit, but then again, visiting is a whole lot different than living there, and being 6 hours away from family is a lot. But at the same time, it's like I am 2 hours away from them now, and I still don't even see them that often, and it's like okay.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a test drive, and like I could definitely see myself moving like farther away too.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I think like if I were to, I would probably come back, but I don't see that happening within like, I don't know, the near future.
Yeah.
And it kind of all depends on like what my parents do too. Like I don't know what is gonna happen. I mean, there's kind of like a lot of moving parts with our family, but I could definitely see myself like moving even farther away.
Yeah.
But maybe coming back in the end, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's all up in the air. Like I'm not gonna like say I have to do this. Like I've thought about living overseas. I think that'd be really cool. I've thought about living like in New York City or on the West Coast somewhere
Mm-hmm.
too. Those places like really interest me. I'm not too interested in being in like the South or anywhere else, but like definitely could see myself going even farther away.
Mr. Worldwide right here.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide, but it kind of all depends on like
Job.
job,
Yeah.
life. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for Chicago.
I mean, I'm hyped. You're. I feel like you're gonna kill it out there.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's like a super cool place. Everyone I've talked to, they're like, if you're coming out of college and you're going there, like you're just gonna love it. Like it's gonna be a lot of fun. You can, experience a lot of different things. So
It's a big old city without being like New York expensive.
Exactly. It's like it's a big city, but it's like manageable. Like I don't really, like I could go and like be fine, like just like walking around there. Like I feel like I'd get a little stressed out in New York, but
Yeah. No, I feel you.
like I've been on my own in Chicago before, and I've been like, all right, I'm like, ooh, cool. So comfortable here.
What were you doing when you first got the news of COVID?
I was actually on the beach with my mom, pretty drunk actually, just like hanging out. Like that's what my family does for vacations. They just go on a beach and basically just sit there all day, do nothing. It's great.
It's a hell of a day.
So yeah, my mom and I were just in those like Adirondack chairs on the beach. That is exactly what we were doing, and we kind of just drank it all away. We were like, oh, I'm not going back to school. Okay, like this is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly where I was.
Yeah, no, it's so weird, like, I don't know, that whole, like, email, like, between, like, the first time of it being, like, you know, like, you have, like, another couple weeks of spring break, and, like, cause, I mean, everyone at Ohio State was at spring break.
Yeah.
And then it was, like, 48 hours later, it's like, fuck.
Yeah, it was so, the turnaround time on that was nuts. It was like
Yeah.
they sent that email and then, 2 days later, oh, you're not coming back at all.
Yeah.
What the?
Just a weird ass time, and, you know, like we said, like,
Weird.
I don't know, I've said this a lot, but I'll say it again, I still miss those last 2 months that we never got in the dorms, like, I don't know, like the last send off to Bowen, like, you know,
Yep.
you guys, you know, being able to finish your freshman year, like, actually, and like, all
Yeah.
that, I don't know, there were some big plans for March,
Mm-hmm.
never got to realize them.
Just zero closure at all.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part, it's like, I don't know, there's still some people I have not seen since COVID.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I mean,
It's just,
yeah, it's a whole 10 shades of fucked up.
yeah. I mean, I was talking like that friend that I went to lunch with today. I mean, he was my best friend since like the first day I stepped on the bus from kindergarten until like throughout high school.
Yeah.
And the last time I had seen him was like one of the first few days when I got home from school, like after packing all my stuff, and like I invited him and one of my other friends over, and then my mom was like, we can't be doing this, like you're not supposed to.
Damn.
And that's literally the last time I saw him until today. So it's just like,
Yeah, it's been years.
it's wild. So, yeah,
Yeah.
sad.
Speaking of though, how was your quarantine?
Quarantine was not like horrible. I enjoyed some parts of it. It was nice to be living under the same roof with all my family again, like because that hadn't happened really in years. Because my brothers are 4 and 6 years older than me, so they had been in college, and we weren't all really together for a while there.
Mm-hmm.
So that part was nice. Like we played a ton of like Catan, like all kinds of games. We had like competitions, which were really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't work like an actual job. I actually just did a ton of handiwork around my house, and I painted my grandma's house and did all this like work for random people, like mulching or just for like friends, anything I could to make money. So I had just like this crazy work schedule too. Watched like a ton of movies, so many movies, which was awesome. So overall, like it was like not bad. I mean, after a while there, tensions got a little high, in my house.
Yeah.
Like my brother was kind of struggling and, ended up moving out, which was really good for him, but just like the frustration of him, he had just started a new job.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
then COVID
in public accounting, and COVID happened, and he was like just so unbelievably frustrated with everything he was doing. So that was tough.
Yeah.
And like some arguments over that, and just like, I don't like tension
Yeah.
at all, so
Don't
I
like
would
it.
go and try and like hide somewhere like in the basement or
Yeah.
just like get away from the situation as much as I possibly could, but it was kind of hard to because you couldn't.
Yeah.
But it was like, overall, I don't think it was like the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sucked, but it was 3 months and then I was back with my friends.
Yeah.
So it ended up being like okay, not ideal, but I was fine with it.
Oh, it sounds like you had all the ups and downs of it.
Yeah.
What were some of the competitions you guys got to do?
So we played all kinds of games. So we play like Catan, a game called Nickel Nickel, which is almost like a rummy type game, but just a lot longer and a lot more involved, I guess.
Gotcha.
What else did we play? We played a game called like Farkle, it's a dice rolling game.
All right.
Super fun for no
Yeah.
reason.
Great name too.
Oh yeah, yeah. What else did we play? Sorry is a classic one for us, just like the normal classic Sorry game. And we would basically just like count up. Like we would have like leaderboards on like who was winning the most games or like who had the most Catan wins and
Yeah.
stuff. So that was like the competition, but those were fun.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah, I was at the top of the leaderboard. I was a very good Catan player for a couple months there, like almost unstoppable.
Okay, Timmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that business degree coming in for
Yeah,
for bartering all the
the
resources.
strategy. Yeah. But I would win so many times. I mean, it was ridiculous. I don't know why they didn't just start like completely targeting me.
Mm.
But, I guess they didn't, and they were just
Yeah.
too focused on like their own things while I was the maestro
Yeah.
of the whole board, and they didn't even notice it, so.
Yeah, pulling all the strings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like I don't know. For the most part, it sounds like a good time. Like you said, there was a couple tensions. I mean, like you said, like there's only so much house, and
Yeah.
the world you can't really go out in the real world and being stuck together with that. I mean, like
Exactly.
you even sophomore year or your sophomore year, my junior year. I feel like I don't know. There were some times where it's like I love the people I'm living with, but it's like you gotta see someone else. You can't see the same however many faces for months and months on end.
Yeah. I was like, I gotta get the hell out of here at some points.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we would just do the same thing every single weekend. It was like Friday and Saturday night automatically was just, we would pregame like pretty early. The Mount girls had their own house and they would all come over. We would like play the same games every single Friday and Saturday, and we would wake up and do it again, and then it was just over.
Yeah.
And then we would watch NFL Sunday, and that was all we did. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah, it's fun until it's
Yeah.
monotonous.
I remember like second semester, that's when people started hanging out a lot more because they weren't like as, I don't know, as scared of the university anymore. But that was definitely needed. Like, I had to get out of the house, so.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I mean, did the whole I don't want to say BHawk groupies. I mean the extended BHawk family. They're much better way to say that.
Yeah, there you go.
Logan, Chase, Allen, all of them. Like when did that start? Like sophomore year or junior year?
That was goodness, I'm trying to remember when they transferred. So they would come every once in a while. Chase would come every maybe once a month and to visit us, or to visit Matt and get his partying fix in because he was at Tri-C.
Yeah.
So Alan, Chase, and Tyler were at, I think Logan was at OU, but those three were at Tri-C, so they were all living at home and doing classes in Cleveland. And I think they came a couple times too, but they weren't really a part of it. Like they were transferring, but they didn't really start hanging out with us a lot until our junior year.
Yeah.
Really. But they all transferred after their freshman year, which is they're all a year younger than us. So our junior year is when they all came.
Yeah. No, I mean Big Al. That's what I was thinking of.
So Big Al, Massimo.
Yeah.
Jacob Klein.
Yeah.
And
Klein. I was thinking.
Yeah, and Brandon Fritz. They were all
Yeah.
They were. Moss and Klein would sleep on our couch every single weekend.
No, sophomore or junior year?
Sophomore year.
Gotcha.
Moss lived in the dorm still.
Shit.
So he was over all the time. it was great though.
I can
It's so
imagine.
much fun.
Sounds like fun. I just can't imagine for him hiking from Northwood to the dorms.
I mean, it was hot. You could do that.
Yeah.
House was way out there.
It was a great COVID house.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, when everything's virtual, it's I mean, I know you're, I mean, that was just a really nice fucking house.
Dude, it was so
If that house was where it is on campus, I would, that would be
yeah.
I would pay a lot of money to live
Oh,
there.
no, absolutely. I mean, I kind of got boned because my room was a closet, but
Yeah.
Jared Deutsch and I did not have the best of rooms. Jared's room was really bad. I don't know if you had ever been in there.
I think so, yeah.
But
On the second floor, right?
No, he was in the basement.
I thought Connor was in the basement.
No, Connor's in the basement now.
Gotcha, okay.
So it used to be Filer and Jared were in the basement. Filer's room was fine. It was an actual square, but Jared's room was an L.
Jesus.
And all that could fit in this part was a tiny single bed.
Yeah.
And then he stuck a futon in there, and it was just so cramped, and it was just a wreck.
Yeah.
No room at all. And then my room was just really, really small.
Yeah.
Made the most of it, but
Yeah.
it was oh my god.
Well, you guys are
But
thriving.
our common room's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you got the, the front room, the little like, you know, pool area with the TV next to it, and then like another place back there,
Yeah.
then the kitchen, and then a giant ass backyard.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That place was, it was great. Like you had a bar room and another room for just like a table for drinking games.
Yeah.
Like it was just perfect. They had a beautiful front porch too. Like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it was really nice. We had a basketball hoop in the backyard. We
Yeah.
just like played basketball.
That's how much room there was back there.
Yeah.
And the whole like, that like mini hill that
Mhm.
I don't know, like
Yeah.
so much room for activities.
Oh yeah, yeah. We would run like 4 or 5 tables back there on game days for like drinking games. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So, a lot of fun.
Yeah. R.I.P. to Northwood House. It was
Yeah.
it's fun while it lasted.
It was fun while it lasted. I think the move was necessary though. That was a treacherous walk.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, like, you know, having that house in person, like with in-person classes and like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, chapter activities, anything you need, like,
Yeah, right.
yeah, that's a lot. I
It
mean,
was much.
I went to the record store, like right by the start of Summit.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know that, but Deutsch used to go there.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is though. Like start
So-
like Summit and what?
Summit and.
Oh, you mean like Hudson?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
like where the punk things and all that is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I, like 2 weekends ago, I walked from my house to there, because I was like, I had nothing better to do, and I like,
Okay.
figured, you know, get a nice little walk in, and I was like, I forgot, I don't wanna like get shit on your house, but it's like, I forgot like from Lane to like Northwood, it's like even like a bit of a second or two.
Oh yeah. I mean, like when we would from High Street to where we lived, like if you went straight down, you would end up like right at Cazuela's, which is like, I mean, that's like a couple blocks up from
Yeah.
campus, and it took like 10 minutes because you had to walk all the way from Summit to High Street.
Yeah,
And then you still had to go even farther down, like south. It was just,
Yeah.
it was wild. But it wasn't like I had 2 in-person classes sophomore year, second semester, but they were back to back,
that's nice.
and it was 3 days a week, and it wasn't horrible because it was just like an easy walk to Fisher, and then I'd walk home.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, if it was something on South Campus.
But
then
yeah,
that
if it was
would
on
be-
the Oval or like Thompson, no
Yeah.
way, dude.
Yeah, just, you know, like, all right, I'm just not going.
Mm.
What's your relationship like with your religion?
I basically have like 0 relationship with my religion anymore. I was born and raised like Roman Catholic. I used to go to church freshman year a decent amount. Like I would go with Adam.
The mass gang.
Yeah, almost every weekend.
Yeah.
And the last time I went to church was probably, I don't know, Ash Wednesday my sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time, other than like Christmas when I went with my family.
Yeah.
But it's been like it's very strange because growing up, every weekend, like every single Sunday, no matter what, if we couldn't go on Sunday, we were going on Saturday, and that's just like how my mom was raised. Like my mom was super Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
whole family, like 6-8 person Catholic family, like just kind of how it is. And she just like passed that down to us, and that's what we did. And then going off to college, I like kind of kept that going, and we would still go when I would come home. But then during COVID, like we were like, my mom was like, we're not watching Mass on TV. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not doing that either. Like
Yeah.
I can take my Sundays back now. But so at that point, that's when I stopped like going to church basically altogether. So I don't really have a relationship with my church at this time. So it is like weird, I guess, because it was such a huge part of my life.
What's your biggest regret?
In high school, like I didn't have like a friend group really in high school, which was kind of like weird because I feel like I have a billion friends here and I'm, so like involved. I feel like I was just like, I had this group in middle school that I always hung out with, and it always seemed like I'll just like carry it on forever with them, and like I always had like my 1 or 2 really close friends that I always hung out with, but I kind of just regret not like finding that group for such a long time, because I made some like really, really great friends, like best friends my best like group of friends I ever had, like always hanging out, like super nice, like actually care about you other than some people. And that happened after my junior year of high school in the summer, and like I feel like I just should have tried so much harder and not like put up with shit from like other people that didn't really care, you know? And like finding like a really good group of friends, because like I feel like that shaped me way more than anything else, like in my life. And like I think I found it right away here, you know, with a couple different communities, and like that's been awesome. But I do kind of regret like my first 3 years of high school, just like kind of like taking the back seat and just like every Friday and Saturday, like I was just like sitting in my basement like doing nothing. Like I was really involved like sports wise, but you know, like after that I was just, you know, going home and like, I don't know, playing Xbox or something. Like it wasn't like I was really hanging out with people. So I kind of like regret that a little bit. And like there's nothing wrong with, I guess, rotting in your basement, like some of my, you know, very fun times doing that, but
Yeah.
I do wish I like had been a little bit more like out there and like done more things, you know, and it didn't happen until like my senior year. And I don't know if that's like a normal thing for most people, but, you know, I probably just should have been like okay with like, I don't know, being closer with like kids from cross country, or like I'm not really caring about like social status, like earlier on.
Yeah.
So like that's like one of the things that comes to mind. I don't really know if there's like a specific point, but you know, just overall, like I think I kind of wish I would have gotten out there a little bit more during high school.
Yeah. Or, I don't know, did you have that thought at all kind of coming into college, or, because I know you said like senior year it kind of changed a lot, but I don't know, did that influence anything at all coming in here? Because I know you said you had the couple different groups, but
I don't know. I think like once I had that like super close group, after my junior year, like I think I just like had like different outlook on friends, and I was like, wow, like, you know, this is what I'm actually supposed to be like getting out of a friendship, you know? And like these people like wrote letters to me like when they were leaving for college, and I was like, holy smokes, like this is so nice, like no one's ever done that for me. And I think that it just like, you know, raised my standard for like people that I wanted to spend the most time with. And so like I don't know if I was necessarily like seeking out like, you know, a huge group of people, but it kind of just like happened because I found value, you know, in like Mount. Like found a ton of value in Mount and started just like hanging out with people in Mount all the time. Now I live with all of them because, you know, like they're good guys. I'm like, hey, I actually care about
for
them.
the most part.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Most Monday through Thursday.
Yeah,
pretty
right.
good. But yeah, I think it just raised my standard. So I don't know if I was like, you know, specifically seeking it out, but I was like, man, like this is what a friend should be, and I shouldn't have to like tolerate, you know, people being shitty to me. So
No, let me know if anyone ever does that and beat them the fuck up.
yeah, no, it's all good. It hasn't happened in a while, so.
I will say, I just from personal experiences and talking to other people, like, I don't know, you're not the only person. I feel like the end of junior, senior year, like, of high school, like, people, like, a lot of people I know came out of their shell, or, like, not even came out of their shell, but, like you said, like, went from, like, whether it be, like, not really talking to, like, people, or, like, being friends with, like, people they didn't, like, really actually like and whatnot, like, to, like, joining an actual, like, good friend group who, like, it went, like, both ways, and it was, like, a good thing, like, I don't know, I wonder if there's, like, a reason. Maybe it's senior year, I don't know.
Development somehow. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know why it happened. It was just like, and there's like no really reason. Like that was the funny part. It's like I didn't really have like a connection to these people like really that much. And it was just funny that they became like my best friends for no reason, which was like, I think that just like goes to show like how good of people they are. But it was just like, I ran track, and this girl that was a senior when I was a junior also ran track, and she basically invited me to prom, and then like all of their friends from like one of their classes like just were like, we were just all friends then. It was like, it made no sense, but we started hanging out one day, and I swear to God I hung out with these people every single day during the summer for like 3 months straight. It was crazy.
That's awesome, dude.
Some of the most, like, probably the best summer I've ever had. It was so much fun. And it was like, it wasn't like we were doing anything that I do now. Like, I didn't really drink. And I didn't drink at all.
Mhm.
And, like, we kind of just, like, had fun. Like,
It
it
was
was
good
just
company.
doing random stuff, like driving all over the place, like going to get food. But, yeah, I wish everybody could get that kind of experience because it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. I got you. And shout out to Summer 16.
Yeah, shout out that summer 16.
Something special about that summer. What are you most worried about?
My CPA exam results. So like I guess short term wise, like I kind of just like counting down the days and it's April 2nd now.
Mhm.
It doesn't come out until the 11th, which I kind of got screwed by the timing of that. So I figure out next Tuesday at like 7 p.m. if I pass it or not, and like that just determines like 2 weeks of my life basically, like re-studying and re-going through all this stuff. So like it's just very stressful, and that's going to be during a time when I'm going to want to be with friends, so it's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty worried about that. What else am I worried about? I'm like always worried about my career. Not in like I know like whatever I do, like I am gonna be like successful, like I don't doubt that. Like I know I'm really hardworking and like I can make connections really well, and I think I'm like good with people, but I'm just worried that like I'm not gonna find something that I'm really good at and enjoy doing at the same time in my work. I don't necessarily think like my job needs to be like my passion or my calling, but it's something that I want to be good at. It's something I want to enjoy doing most of like a majority of the time, and I want to enjoy the people I'm working with. And I feel like that's just really rare to find. Like just seeing it in both my parents' careers, I'm like, it just seems like sometimes like I feel like you're just miserable. Like,
Yeah.
and there's good times too, but like I don't know. I really worry about that and worry about like how much I'm gonna have to work and if all I'm gonna be doing is work, because I feel like that's kind of been a lot of the last 4 years is like I just jammed my schedule as much as possible and like didn't really give myself time to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really something I want in a career, and I hope I'm not like forced into that in any way.
Yeah.
And it's just like it comes with a lot of stresses about that too, because it's like I want to make money, I want to be able to take care of myself and like take care of my family, and like live just comfortably and not have to worry about money, because I've like never had to worry about money, and that's been like, very nice, because that's a really tough thing on people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I also don't want to have to give up like my whole life to do that.
Yeah.
Like outside of work. So that's something that I worry about a ton, and especially like going to a really big firm that kind of prides itself on like putting your nose in your work and like
Yeah.
grinding,
And, like, living
which is
your work.
fine. Yeah, and like I can see myself working like I'm gonna work really hard, and like I know I'm at like the bottom of the totem pole, and busy seasons suck.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but like I don't want that to be all the time.
There's such thing as work-life balance.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's something I think about like a lot. And definitely like long-term worry-wise. Like, yeah, I worry about that.
I feel yeah. I feel like especially like before getting like first like real like 9 to 5 like the rest of your life job. We were saying like internships like it's an internship, but like just that first job is just like so terrifying to think about. Like
Oh, yeah.
I mean I haven't started my first job yet, and I'm like I feel it like there's just so much. It's just like the great unknown. Like that's what the next 40 plus years of your life is going to look like in some form or another. And like you said, like especially the relationships and there's so much there, and there's just you don't know until you start there. I mean, hell, my mom like just got a new job in like July of last year, and like was like super excited for it because like she was like kind of getting like tired of her old job just with some of the people and stuff, and now she's like actively looking for a new job because she really doesn't like it, but she was just so, like she was so excited about it. It's just I mean it's unfortunately a leap of faith unless you've already worked there before. But at that point, like, you know, still you've worked at some point. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough, but I think you'll have. I mean, especially like, you know, again, rooting for you being in person, like, you know,
Yeah.
just like the relationships that you can make there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll land on your feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. I hope so. Well, guess we'll see. To be determined.
Yeah, I don't know. Future Timmy's either gonna be like that naive kid or that
Yeah.
I don't know what the opposite of naive is.
Yeah.
What is the hardest thing that's happened to you this past year?
I guess something that's been like pretty hard on me recently. So that friend that I talked to today, it's like, I mean, it's like a lot better now. So, you know, things are good. But there was a time, like earlier in the semester, that it was like really rough. But so he, you know, grew up with them, like best friends, and kind of like grew apart during college just because he goes to Lafayette College and plays football. But I think it was sophomore year. Please, sophomore year. So yeah, so sophomore year he was diagnosed with cancer. So that, like, at first I was just like I was a little starstruck, but you know, like, he's got this, like, he's a really tough kid.
Yeah.
Not like too concerned, and they were like, oh, it's a really high cure rate. Like almost like in the 90s, I think. So I was like, okay, like everything's gonna be fine, like he's gonna get through this, just has to do chemo and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, you know, wasn't too worried, but then it came back this year, or I guess this past year, it was kind of like fall, Thanksgiving time, and it was like, it was a much worse situation, and it like kind of elevated to like pretty bad, like about a month, like end of January kind of time. And it was like, it was just it was really weird because it was like, I hadn't talked to him, and like he's a really quiet kid, so like unless you're hanging out with him, like he's just not really gonna like talk to you that much. Like I would text him and he always just like one word replies, like it's just how he is.
Yeah.
But like it was just hard to like watch someone go through that and see like all this bad news that keeps hitting them, and you're sitting here and you're like, man, like this feels really shitty, but like woe is me, like maybe I'm just making a big deal out of it, like, you know, I'm not as close with them anymore, so why does it matter? And like that's like such like a dark place to go to. But I was like, man, that's like my best friend. So I guess I just struggled a lot with that, and like the way he's like so quiet, so it's like hard to get like updates from him. I texted him a lot. He just like, you know, responds to every third one or something.
Yeah.
But I know he cares, like, but it's just kind of who he is. But like it was just like rough this semester. Like I was just like, man, like that's someone I spent hours and hours and hours with every single day. Like being taken away would be just like devastating. And just like the whole situation was really tough. So I think that's probably like the hardest thing, is just dealing with that. And like how to like deal with those emotions, because it is hard because you think it's like invalid, but it's not like at all. And you know, like just fucking missed him. Like I hadn't seen him in forever.
Yeah.
So it was hard, but he's doing a lot better today. Like I talked to him today, and things are looking like so much better. So
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear about all that, but I'm glad to hear that. It sounds like he's doing better.
Yeah. So yeah, he was telling me about, you know, future plans, and he's actually going back to school this week. So it'll be good for him.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, to your point, I feel like, especially like you said, like having that happen to someone that's not, I don't know, you're like not someone you have like direct impact on, whether it be like family or something like that. That's
Right.
That's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. It's just like, you know, your best friend growing up, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like he's 20 years old. Why is he getting cancer? That's like not supposed to happen. So.
Yeah. What's something that made you laugh really hard recently?
I laugh a lot at my house. My roommates are.
They're goobers.
They're awesome. Like it's just like all these like stupid inside jokes we have. This is like every single morning after a night of drinking, Aaron is like he's always up really early,
Mhm.
and you can tell he's still like screwed up. But
Yeah.
he's just like he's hilarious. Like next morning, him telling you the stories that happened to him that night is just like the most ridiculous thing ever. And he was telling me about Thursday night at Outer because I was somewhere else with other friends, and he was telling me about this guy that was like a new guy working at the bar.
Mhm.
And some dude was like teaching him how to do stuff, and like Deutsch went up to him and was like, "Hey, can I get an ice water?" And the guy like blankly stared at him. He was like, "How stupid is this dude?" He like didn't know what to do when he said, "Get an ice water." And then he gave him the ice water, and this is a bartender.
Yeah.
And like he just like jokingly goes, "Oh yeah, I roofied that." And Deutsch was like,
Bro.
"Dude, you cannot say that." But his facial reaction, like when he heard it, it was just like. He's like, if someone heard that, I feel like they would call the police.
Yeah.
Like
It's
rightfully so.
It's one thing for your friend to say that, but
Yeah,
for like
I
a
know.
random bartender.
Like a bartender to say that to you. But I was cracking up, and he was just telling me all these stories from Outer, and it just never fails. Like every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like he's got something. If he
Yeah.
like went out the night before, like something crazy happened to him.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love that kid. I mean, like, I remember he came into a party at the Vatican one time, and he
Yeah.
left with one shoe, and
Yep.
we couldn't
Yeah.
find his shoe.
He has no idea. I don't think we ever did find that shoe.
Like we cleaned, so we like strip cleaned the house because like we couldn't leave anything in there because they were like having a giant like cleaning crew and all this before the next guys moved in. We found an Xbox 360 actually.
What?
Yeah. It was there, like we never knew, like, because it must have been from the guys that lived before us or before
Oh,
them,
okay.
like something, but I mean, yeah, because we inherited a lot of that stuff because we never really had one of those like deep strip cleans or whatever.
Mhm.
But we never found that shoe. I honestly do not know where the fuck that
I
went.
can't imagine it. That's like another thing with our house is there are things that have just disappeared, and we can't figure out like what the hell happened. Like Filer lost a blue suit his sophomore year, and we still have never found it. And we're like, where could that have possibly gone? Like
Yeah.
it was just in his closet, and now it's just gone. Like
Yeah.
so many things like that. But yeah, something always happens to Deutsch. Like you like start to wonder like, is this kid's life like ever real? Like
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
He's living in a movie. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
I know. I mean, and it's not even like, it's not even just when he goes out too. Like he'll just come back from class on a day and he'd be like, this, and this happened. And I'm like, what? How did you see all of this in like a 3-hour span?
Yeah.
But, oh my God, he's a funny guy.
Shout out Deutsch.
Yeah.
What's your favorite tradition?
I love game days with my family. That's been something that I've done basically since birth for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And it just never fails to be like the best time ever. You know, no matter like where we're at, like if we're at the game or if we're, you know, out of town just watching it together or at home watching it together, it's always like, you know, mom's making like food or we're getting like food from somewhere and all just like hanging out and going nuts over the TV. And yeah, I just like the passion and pride that I guess that goes into like I get Ohio State football, which seems like such a stupid thing, but it's the most fun. Like it's always like, you know, the biggest deal ever when there's a game day, and that's like the best. Like it's something to look forward to and care about a lot, and it's like even better when, you know, everyone's on the same team. You know,
Yeah.
cheer. So it's a lot of fun. I love game days.
No, I feel you. Like my dad always said, he's got two religions: Judaism and Ohio State football.
Yeah, exactly.
There's something special about, especially like I don't know, like in Cleveland was like was it a lot of like Ohio State football people on Saturday, or was it just like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say like it was never as big as, you know, like a Cleveland sport, just because we always kind of stayed in for Ohio State sports. We would have people over to watch it. We never really went out for Ohio State football games as much. I mean, it's definitely huge, obviously.
Yeah.
But I would say like we would go to the game or like go downtown for the game if it was, you know, a Cleveland sports team. So it's a bit different.
I got you.
vibe, but like we were always known as like the Ohio State household. Like
Oh,
it was
fuck
so
yeah.
funny, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was my dream since I was in 6th grade to go to Ohio State. So, like, people were always like messing with me on Twitter, like Mr. Ohio State's like going nuts right now because the game's close or something like that. So yeah.
No, I feel you. Like growing up in Columbus, I mean, like it's like Saturday is just like no one, like especially Michigan. Like I remember like being at a bar one time, like kind of by my house or like a, food bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not 21. I don't know. But I remember just like looking out and it's like there's not a single car on the road, like for
I know.
miles.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, it's gonna be then like everywhere you go on Saturdays in Columbus, it's like everyone's watching the game like doing something for game day. And it's like it's gonna be so weird going to Chicago and being like going to a bar and being like, can you turn on the Ohio State game on?
Yeah, right.
Sure.
You gotta go to like a couple of the backer bars or something, but it's gonna be strange, like when the world doesn't stop.
Yeah, no, it's
Because
just
there's
like
a
another
game
thing
on.
that happens.
Yeah. You're
Like, I don't know, I was in Toronto for the Notre Dame game, and like, because I got family up there, and like we called ahead and asked the bar if they would like show the game, and like, it's crazy because I mean, we're in Toronto, but it's like we're the only people watching the game. Everyone else is watching like, they're the Blue Jays or like I think there was some rugby going on or like something, but like arguably one of the biggest like football or college football
it
games
was the
of
biggest
the year.
game of the year,
I
probably,
mean,
for
at the
a
very
while.
least, yeah. I mean, it was at the very least the biggest game opening weekend. I mean, it's Ohio State versus what's supposed to be a really good Notre Dame team,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, my cousins who like play fantasy football, they don't give a shit about college because it's like, to be fair, it's Canada, so it's like why would you? But
Yeah, right.
I don't know, like it's just gonna be. I'm gonna miss the magic of Ohio State football in Ohio.
Yeah, that's definitely like something. Like that's like a huge driving force for me too. Like that's why I could see myself coming back. Like I fucking miss that. Like,
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. We'll figure out like the group.
Yeah.
Like I mean.
Yeah.
To be fair,
There's
Chicago,
plenty
there's
of
a
Ohio
lot
State
of Ohio
grads.
State. Yeah, there's definitely probably an Ohio State bar somewhere.
Yeah, we went to one of them. It's just like
It's not the same.
it's just not the same. Now.
Yeah.
And like that's okay. I'll come home for a game or two every year, hopefully.
Alumni block.
Yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So
That's
fun.
Who is your hero? Keep asking you why you got water in your mouth.
No, I just feel like I take a drink every time there's a break.
I got you.
But my brother and my dad are both definitely up there. I feel like I've taken I look up to them so much, both of them, and taken a lot from each of them. People always say I act exactly like my dad, which I kind of understand. Just we're kind of both very intense about things, and just mannerisms and stuff. But I didn't really look up a lot my dad. I would say my dad's probably my hero. I feel like he just kind of sacrificed a lot so that I could just, do whatever I want or be happy in any way. The dude was driving an hour and some to work every single day for years because he didn't want to have to move us out of schools. And thank God for, honestly, COVID has helped him so much because he's just virtual all the time and doesn't have to do a 2-hour commute every day, and he's just probably a lot happier because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of work he did, and we would always complain to him about it because it seemed it's oh, dad's got to get on a work call or something. But I don't know, I feel that was his way of showing us that he really loved us too. And I thought that's just something I admire a lot. And he was I do this because this, and this, and you said you can do this, and this, and I was oh, I really appreciate that. So I would say my dad's my hero because it kind of just puts everyone else before himself in every situation ever. So it's not something you always see from people, but it's a trait that I 100% look up to. I hope I don't have to do all the stuff that he did, but I'm so appreciative of him. And I feel I learned a lot from him just based on that. So.
Sounds like a hell of a man, Mr.
Yeah.
Rook.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah. Well, once again, shout out the entire Rook family, but especially Dad. What's the best thing that's happened to you this past month?
I won a leadership award from BPAD
Oh, I saw
last
that.
week. I was really happy about that. I was just like, I put in a lot to BPAD. A lot of time, obviously, like, you know, that comes with being the president, but also just like, you know, there's 100 and some people in it, so it's like, you know, a lot of people to keep tabs on and a lot of events, you know, this and that. And it just like, it was just like the best feeling ever to have someone go up there and say like, you embody this, you know, pillar of our organization and we're so appreciative of everything you've done. Especially like in front of my parents because like, I don't tell them a whole lot about like what I do because like I feel like they get stressed easily for me and like I just don't want them to have to be like worrying about you know, all these things that are happening in my life, like especially like when I'm like taking the CPA exam and like, you know, doing my last bit of classes and then if they like hear like something big with BPADs going on, they're like, oh, I'm spending enough time on, you know, like this. So like I kind of just usually just like keep that like separate. So I think it was like really cool for like, I was really happy for them to kind of see that side of things too. For the first like real time where they probably never really noticed like how much I put in to the organization. So I was really, really happy. It felt amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure the, I don't know, what was the award again?
It was just a leadership award, so they do 5 pillar awards and then like a member of the year award, so I won the leadership pillar award.
If I had to vote, I would vote for all 6 of the awards for you. Just saying.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Rename all of them to the Timmy Award.
Timmy Rook Award. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think your purpose in life is?
For the past few years, I feel like I've gone off of like, I just want to be like helping presence in any way I can. And I kind of take that in a lot of different ways, like as just like a normal person, as a roommate, like I always try and be really, really positive and like happy around people. Like as much as my roommates probably like hate it in the morning, like I'm always like when I'm downstairs making breakfast, I'm always like, hey, like how's it going? Like which, like, they're probably like really tired and I'm like, you know, what have you got today? Like how's your week looking? Just try to make people feel like super valued and heard through, you know, probing questions and listening really well. So I feel like that's one side to take it. And then like the other side is, you know, helping in other ways too, like reviewing a resume or mock interviewing someone, helping someone with like a problem in a class that I've already taken before. Like those are things that I actually really, really look forward to. I know it can be like kind of a nuisance sometimes, but it's just so much easier for me to be like when I'm like really good at something to like help someone else through it. Because I was always so appreciative of when people would like give their time to me and you know, take time out of their busy schedule to like run me through something or help me through a problem. So I feel like I've tried to apply that like as much as possible and make myself a resource to literally like everyone I meet. So I really enjoy doing things like that, and I hope to be able to like continue to do that throughout whatever I do, because that makes me feel like very, very whole when I do that. So.
Yeah, helping the world one step at a time.
Yeah, and it's like I don't think like I'm gonna have like some crazy innovative idea or, you know, make a ton of money and donate it to some organization that changes the world. Like I don't really see like that being my impact. Like I kind of just see it as like
the more local scale. You know?
Yeah, like this guy was like really awesome. He actually like listened to me and cared about what I said and was fun to be around. So
what do you think your past self would give you now?
I think my past self would be pretty surprised. I came into college like I did, you know, everything under the sun in high school, like three sport athlete, plus, you know, I swam in the summer and coached swim team. Did like all kinds of extracurriculars, clubs, you know, honor societies, like anything I could possibly do. And I don't really know if I did it for the right reasons. It was kind of just like, one, get into Ohio State, like, do everything that you can, show that you're involved. And two, like, I don't know, just look like a badass at graduation with like 1 million cords and shit. So,
Yeah.
I don't think that's exactly like the best reason for things. But I think I'd be really proud about like everything that I did accomplish in college. Like, I took honors classes in high school, but never thought that was in the cards for me in college, and took a really, really rigorous program and made it through alive in honors accounting. Like, there's not really many programs like that. Based on what some of the professors say, like, in the country, like, there's only a handful that do things that we do. So making it through that program, something that, I never really saw myself being the president of like a major, 100+ person organization on campus. I never expected to make it through my first 3 years without even getting lower than an A-. Like, I was so proud of that. In college, I think I really figured a lot out. Like, I have so much more to learn and like grow from, but I'm like very proud of like how I like did college, I guess, and like how I reacted to things too. And like, obviously I like made mistakes along the way, but I feel like I actually learned a lot from them, and I don't know if I did that as much in the past. And really like applied it to my future life. And I just think that my past self would be like, whoa, like, you did a really good job. And like, you've got a lot in the cards that I didn't really expect. So it's been really good past 4 years. So.
It's been fun seeing you grow. I don't know, I feel like it's so crazy that you guys are about to graduate. Like, I don't want to say so you guys as freshmen, like, the fact that you're a senior is like absurd to me, because it like makes sense, but it's like, I don't know. I'll like you said, I'll remember like walking through the halls and like going to the common rooms and like seeing you guys and like President Timmy, like,
I would have never, I would have never expected that at all, like, out of myself, I guess. It's just, I don't know, something clicked and things ended up working out for me, but well, it is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a ton of growth in myself over the past 4 years. And like, looking back at like freshman year Timmy, I'd be like, what the hell? Like, that is just like a completely different person than I am now. Not like literally, like, I don't think I'm completely different. I think I'm a lot the same, but just like, everything I did, I think I'd be pretty shocked.
Are you fulfilled?
Sometimes I feel like I am, sometimes not. Right now is a little bit of a weird time for me because I'm just really, really burnt out right now. It's been a pretty tough semester. Just like, none of my classes are really hard, but studying over 90 hours for the CPA exam, plus doing all of that, plus doing president stuff for BPAD has not been the easiest thing in the world at times.
Can't imagine.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of moments where I'm like, God, this sucks. Like, I would like so kill to be one of my roommates right now who's like not doing anything at all and kind of just like chilling. But then I have these like moments when I'm at like a party or I'm like watching my friends interact, or there was a point when we were doing the 999 challenge on Thursday, and like I just like took it all in and I was like, man, like these friends are so special. Like, we were just laughing about something, we were all like cracking up, and I remember looking at Filer and I'm like, man, I really hope like this isn't like, I hope it gets better than this too. Like, I hope it stays the same, or it's like, I hope it never goes away. Like, I hope I always have things like this, because like in those moments like I feel super fulfilled. And like I have these awesome friends and like memories that I can look back on. But then there's also that part where it's like, is that gonna go away? So there's points when I feel super fulfilled and like everything I did is paying off, but then there's also times when it's like, damn, like this really blows, and like sometimes I wish I took a backseat and like just like, mailed it in during college at the same time. So it's a back and forth thing for me. I think it's like on and off, based on the day. But
Yeah.
overall, like I do genuinely feel like pretty good, and like pretty happy with like how I've gone about things. So.
Oh, yeah, I feel you. I feel like, I don't know, not the grass is always greener, but it's like the road not traveled is always interesting, but it sounds like the road you traveled kicked ass, let me tell you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like it was definitely a ton of work, but like I'm glad I did it. Like not something I would want to do again.
Yeah. It's almost like pledging, it's like.
But yeah, the worst thing I'd never do again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Or the best thing I'd never do again. That's what I'd say.
Something like that. Where do you see yourself going the next 5 years, both personally and professionally, but more on the personal side?
Obviously, like moving to a new city, like I think that's gonna be really like different for me, and like completely living on my own. I'm not like really sure how that's gonna go, because like at this point, like my parents still like do a lot for me. I'm not really independent at all. So I don't know if it's like where I see myself, but like I see myself becoming like a lot more independent in like my everyday life, I guess, because I'm gonna have to be, and I'm pretty excited for that. Like what do people usually say when they talk about a personal way? Like
honestly, like it's different for everyone,
Yeah.
It's I feel like the only standard part is me saying that like it's 20s is hard to plan for just because like you're going flying by the seat of your pants, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like a good way to put it, because like I don't know, it's like one little thing could happen and that just like changes your whole life for the foreseeable future. So I hope I can just continue to have like kick-ass friends and really enjoy like living life, and just being happy to do it. I don't really care like what that looks like, but just as long as like I'm enjoying it and I have like good people on my side, like I think that's like what's most important to me personally, and just finding ways to have fun like every day and laugh every day.
What do you want to have done by the next time we film a podcast episode? And I don't know when that'll be, but I'm saying 3+ years from now.
I want to have traveled to at least 3 national parks that I haven't been to.
Yeah.
I've like always really wanted to do that and never like actually taken initiative to like go and try it out. I mean, I've been to Yosemite and Cuyahoga Valley, but I haven't, I guess, like really gone for it in that regard, and that's something that like I care about a lot. So I definitely want to have been to a couple of those and spent time there. I want to have had visited my cousin who lives in Wyoming, because I've been saying I'm going to do it for a long time. And
People actually live in Wyoming? Sorry, I've never heard of someone.
He wouldn't like that if you saw this, but he's a really fun guy, and I don't get the opportunity to see him a whole lot, so I want to get out there and see him, and like I can do Yellowstone and Grand Tetons when I'm out there.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to do that. What else? I want to start writing more in general. I've always I struggled with journaling. Throughout the years, I tried it, on and off, but a friend told me I think you should write personal statements or anecdotes about things that happened to you that you want to remember, or short essays, a series of short essays about yourself. So I think I want to try and do that. I don't really know what that looks like, if it's just a couple Word documents on my laptop, but I want to have had made some progress there. 'Cause I think there is a creative side that I don't really get from work, or what I'm going to be doing in accounting that I want to be able to show off in some way, maybe down the road. So that's another thing. I want to have some sort of head start on that, or a couple of them written.
Fuck yeah. I know you said Yellowstone, I think. Any other for the three national parks? Any specific ones you want to go to, or just?
Yeah. I don't really care. I mean, like, Yellowstone's really cool. Grand Tetons are beautiful. Glacier always looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the ones down south, like the Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon,
Mhm.
Zion. I want to do Angel's Landing at Zion. It's a very famous hike.
Yeah.
So those are a couple that come to mind.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the end of the conversational part of the podcast.
Okay.
Wrapping up, I've got some quick hitters for you. So
Okay.
first thing comes to mind.
Okay.
If you need time to think, go for it. Just try not to overthink it.
Okay.
All right. Also, what's your middle name again? Just blanked on it.
What's up?
What's your middle name again?
Martin.
Martin. I knew it wasn't. I said the wrong name for Jared, and I wasn't going to take a chance this time. All right. This is a moment in the mind of Timothy Martin Rook. What's a song that's stuck in your head recently?
Mia by Drake and Bad Bunny.
What's one of your favorite quotes or lyrics?
It's from a song called Cardinal by Mount Joy. It's like, you don't have to come clean to me, everything is where it's supposed to be.
What's the best show or movie you've seen in the past month?
I watched Sleepless in Seattle last week, loved it. So good.
That is really good.
Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, so good. Not like your typical rom-com. So.
Yeah. What's the best things you binged recently?
Best thing I binged, Mandalorian.
On Swag Wednesdays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Swag Wednesday.
Yeah, you gotta shout it
It's
out.
the best.
What's the best book you've read recently?
I just finished reading Tuesdays with Morrie for probably like the 5th time. Best book ever. So good.
Gonna have to add that to my list.
Mm-hmm. It's quick.
Oh yeah. What is your current or most recent job?
I was an auditor for Deloitte last summer.
Do you want kids, and if so, how many?
I do not know if I want kids. So, I don't know.
I gotcha. Your favorite conspiracy theory?
Helen Keller's not real.
What's your favorite spot to eat nearby, whether it be sit down or fast food?
I love Barrio.
Like the Barrio on campus or just Barrio in general?
Barrio in Cleveland.
Okay,
It's better.
yeah. It's, I was hoping it's better in Cleveland because, like, I've just been super, super underwhelmed by the Columbus Barrios so far.
I love it. And you have to go to the original one in Lakewood.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Lakewood is, or the only other Barrio I've been to that I've actually, or was like the one right by the Cavs Stadium.
Yeah, so there's one in East 4th
Yeah.
by the Cavs Stadium.
East 4th, that's
There's
right.
one in Strongsville now.
Really?
There's one in Lakewood. That's the one I've been to the most. And there's one in Tremont. They're like popping up everywhere now though.
Yeah.
So there's probably more than that now.
No, it's crazy. There's 2 Canados and a Barrio on High Street. Like,
Yeah.
what a world.
Wild.
What's something you think that's underrated?
I really like the Bad Batch TV show, another Star Wars thing. I think it's
Mhm.
really good. I think it's kind of underrated. People complain about it a lot, but I like it.
I got you. I've not seen.
It's just like an animated show. So.
Yeah, it's a sequel for the Clone Wars show.
Kind
right?
of, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Dwight about the Clone Wars. I've only seen episodes
He's
4, 5, and
grinding.
6
Oh,
of Star Wars
okay.
in general. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Eventually I need to catch up on everything, but that's a later. But yeah, no, he is grinding.
Oh yeah.
Quick side note: you'd be surprised how many people say Helen Keller's not real for the conspiracy theory question.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
I think I've spread that pretty well.
You might
I've
honestly.
been doing that a lot.
Yeah, doing the Lord's
I don't
work.
think she's like, I think she's a real person, just over exaggerated, either not blind or not deaf completely.
Yeah, yeah,
That's where I'm coming from there.
That's
I
what
think
I've heard a lot.
Yeah. If you look up some stuff that they put out about her, like her flying a plane, like, oh,
Yeah.
come on.
That does
Like,
not
how
sound-
is that real? It's
Yeah.
a legit article.
Yeah. What's your biggest hot take?
It's Four Loko USA is delicious.
USA.
Mm-hmm. USA.
Is that the flavor? Or
Yeah.
What flavor is United States of America?
USA in your DNA, bro. It's delicious. I drink it like every weekend.
Okay, I'm a little afraid of you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good hot take. I've had some very lukewarm takes recently, so I'm glad to have someone that actually
Okay.
like maybe like feels something from the take.
Wait a minute.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
I have a lot. I hate people with bad breath. Oh my god, it's so annoying.
It's like brush your teeth. It's
It's
not that hard.
disgusting. Yeah.
What's your biggest insecurity?
I get like a little embarrassed I guess sometimes when I'm at the gym, just because like I feel like I'm a lot smaller than like most of the dudes there, so I feel a little insecure.
I gotcha. I feel you with that.
Yeah.
Everyone starts somewhere, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
What's your favorite quality about yourself?
I love how much I care about like literally everything and anything, whether it be like a 3-on-3 basketball game or just like when one of my friends I can tell is struggling, and I want to be there for them.
Oh yeah. Do you have a favorite outfit?
Favorite outfit? Oh yeah. I have a couple, but I actually got these new like corduroy green pants. And I really like wearing them with this Bryce Canyon shirt I have. It's like kind of like a rustic old 80s shirt that I took from my dad.
Okay.
I really like that outfit.
Any shoes specifically go with that, or?
Yeah, I have a pair of all white Reeboks. I don't really know how to explain them, but they have like the gum colored bottom. Like it's actually kind of like that
brownish.
color. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I love those shoes. Like my
Styling
favorite pair of
iron.
shoes I've ever had. Yeah.
Golly. What's your biggest hobby?
Biggest hobby? Right now, I would say it's probably playing basketball. I've been on a huge kick recently, playing a ton. It's been awesome.
I got you. Alright, you're stuck on a deserted island. You can only bring one thing. Any electronics you bring don't have self-service, and you can't bring like a boat. What are you bringing?
I am bringing a record player and plenty of albums. Or can I only bring one thing?
One thing. Because no one tried to do the same thing, and I said no.
Fuck it, I'll bring that little triangle game with the T's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
with
gonna be the
the
best ever at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure out the best strategy.
Damn.
Just by myself, not by
Yeah.
looking it up.
Yeah. I haven't seen those since like the last one was Cracker Barrel. One.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good answer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who are your best friends?
So Joe, the one I was with today,
Mm-hmm.
Grant is been my neighbor at home, really long time. Grant Geary, love him, and then all my roommates.
B-Hawk is 6 for 6.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it. Jared said on the first one, like everyone better say like each other.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all up to Filer now.
Yeah.
Will
yeah.
he break the streak?
Exactly. I had to get the 2 childhood friends in, and then
That
hit with the B-Hawk. Oh yeah.
I got you. What are you curious about?
What environmentally our world is going to look like in like 15, 20 years?
That's a great answer.
I'm so curious, but also scared.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's a fun time to be alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's something that you have to do every day?
Be active in like some way, shape, or form. Like whether that be running, going to work out, playing a sport, something that like gets my blood going.
Right.
I need to do that.
Physical jack of all trades.
Yeah.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
My senior year, I won a competition at my high school that raised like $3,000 for the Ronald McDonald House.
That's awesome, dude.
Thank you.
What's one thing you want to own?
I want to own like a sick set of speakers.
That would be sick.
Yeah, like a really nice set of speakers.
I'm curious, when you say like tangible, like what would an intangible object?
I thought you meant like own, like I just want to be like
Swagged out?
really fucking good at basketball.
Gotcha,
Like,
okay.
own that.
Okay.
That's what I meant. I get it, yeah, it was kind of weird,
Yeah.
but
No, that makes sense. I just,
you were like, wait a minute.
yeah. I need an example because I was like, a ghost.
Yeah, you're like, wait.
Yeah. What do you think the price of gas will be for the next time we film?
$4.10.
It's hoping it's somewhere. I don't know.
Be
We'll see.
knows?
It's been a fun year for
Yeah,
gas prices.
Yeah, it's up, way up and down.
Yeah. Where do you want to visit next?
Where do I want to visit next? I am so excited to go to Nice, France this summer.
That'll be a ton of fun.
I'm really excited.
What's one piece of advice you have for yourself, for the world, for me, whoever?
Don't be embarrassed about caring, like about anything. I kind of said it earlier, that's like one of my favorite qualities. But I feel like I got, shit a lot for like trying too hard at things. But like, that's not something you should be upset about. You should try your hardest at like everything.
Fuck yeah. And last but not least, top 5.
Taylor Swift.
Gotta get the Swiftie in there.
Yeah, oh yeah. OP. The NCAA tournament.
Shout out to this.
Craft beer. A sick pair of shoes. Laughing so hard that you're like not able to breathe.
That is a quick but incredible top 5. God damn.
Thank you.
That's I don't know, I'm not much of a Swiftie person personally, but like
Yeah.
that's probably a top 5 from
go.
from 5.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Tammy, that's a great way to round out the episode, and I'm really glad to have you on here.
Yeah, thank you. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, no, it's you've been a great time, and almost done with B-Hawk month.
I know.
Crazy thing, it's
done
almost-
with the Hawks almost done
Yeah,
in general. It's gonna be sad.
it's just gonna be Hawk.
Yeah. House on campus.
Yeah,
So sad.
yeah. But how do you want to end this episode?
How do I want to end this? You want to do like a chest bump?
Sure.
Let's go. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Bang.
I love the ends.